AFTV, Julian, comprehensive win today. You can't look even though we beat Forest at same margin last year, but you can't look on them. They're not mugs, Nottingham Forest. They are a good team. They've got a lot of very good players, but we made them look very, very ordinary today. And great attacking flair from Arsenal today.
Yeah, well, you call them not mugs, and I think if you go back a couple of weeks, they weren't mugs, but they've made a not so subtle change, which makes them into mugs.
The manager.
Well, exactly. The manager. I always think that it's really interesting what the managers say before the games, the pre-match press conferences. And I listen to Arteta, and Arteta says, I've learned a lot from Postecoglou. And I think what you can learn from him as a manager is everything you don't want to do. Because the guy doesn't know how to play football, how to manage a team. What he did initially, and I know one of the guys said before that they went on the attack. He said, no, they didn't go on the attack. You couldn't see it. And the eye test would say they didn't go on the attack. But they actually started pushing the full-backs up. And our wingers, we think, played brilliantly. And they did play brilliantly. But it wasn't the same organisation against them. When we see Saka week in, week out, what he's up against is players doubling up on him all the time. I didn't see that once. So although I think they looked impressive, I think because they had such poor organisation, it made our players look better. Because our players are great, but give our players space and they look a lot better. Deny them space, and I think that's when everyone comes here and starts complaining. So I think it's as much to do. We talk about the man of the match. Man of the match for me was the owner of Forest for sacking their manager a few weeks ago and putting Postecoglou in.
I mean, listen, despite that, it was a great performance by Arsenal. So many great performances right throughout the pitch. Let's just say, let's start with Madueke. I mean, out on that wing, right-hand side, stepping into Saka's shoes. He had a great game, and, Saka wasn't really missed today, was he?
No, he wasn't missed. And you look at the stats of Madueke, I think he had 9 duels won. He had 5 take-ons. He created 5 chances. 5 chances he created. All right, we didn't take any, didn't get an assist. But he created them. He could have done. He was given the space. He's a quality player. And what is slightly different with him to the other players, and where we see this fits for us, is that he can take players on. He can run with the ball. He can draw players away and create space for other players. And I thought, yes, he fits perfectly.
Yep. And, Gyökeres, again, another goal for him as well. I mean, it's about being, if you're a striker, it's about being there to tap them in.
Well, look, when you see how he scored that goal, we felt that we could have scored that goal because it literally was a tap-in. But what created that space, again, I'll come back to the way Forest were playing, they pushed up. And when they pushed up, we had the long ball over the top, and it was something that I've not seen for a while, and it's great that Arteta's been able to see that. But Forest's formation allowed us to play that ball over the top. We found the space, and once a player of the quality of Eze gets in that position, he puts the ball in first time, and Gyökeres does what anyone could do in that position, taps the ball in from a few yards. But again, it's a lot down to the way Forest didn't deny us space like other teams come here and deny us the space.
Is this squad, as the rain's starting to pour down, but is this squad going to be good enough?
It's not going to mess our hair up, is it?
It's not going to mess your hair up, no. Is this squad going to be good enough to go all the way this season? Do you think, with what you've seen, when you look at the bench today, with all the players that are missing, they can still bring Trossard on, Martinelli, players like that?
Yeah, of course it is. It's the best squad we've ever had.
You had to bail out because of the rain. Your hair was getting wet, and I had to drag you out of that. Right, the question I was asking you, do you think this squad could be good enough to go all the way this season?
I think undoubtedly it's not could. It is good enough. There's no doubt that it's good enough to win every trophy this season because of the depth we've got. Is that players are coming in and you're not seeing a drop off. And what we had from last season, you look at just one position. I'm going to try and pronounce his name correctly. Mascara.
Yeah.
Mascara. Okay, well. Thank you. It's calling him Mascara up to now. Mascara. He's come in last season. Kivior comes in. Now he plays against Real Madrid. I think Saliba gets injured, the game for Real Madrid. I think it might have been West Ham or Palace we played. And the atmosphere in the stadium when Saliba went off injured and everyone realises that Kivior's going to have to play against Real Madrid, it was depressed.
Although Kivior done well.
He did do well. But what we've got an unknown player that's come in the middle of a game, right at the beginning of the game against Liverpool. He's played phenomenally well. You don't even notice the difference. There hasn't been a drop-off yet. The only goal we've conceded this season is one goal, and that goal was an absolute worldie. Yep. And Arne Slot said if you play that game 10 times, by his own admission, if you play that game 10 times, 8 times it's going to be a draw. And that's what he says, and he's biased. I'd say 9 times it would be a draw. And it was just not a fluke, because it was a great goal, but it was let's call it, all right, I'm going to call it a fluke. A fluke goal. That is the only goal we've conceded, and that is our defence with supposedly, and I'd still say, our best defender out. And we've conceded one worldie goal in one position. You look throughout the squad, we don't have drop-offs, and that's why I think even if we don't have injuries, we've got to start resting players in exactly the same way we rested Rice today, because it was definitely the right decision. We've got 3 games this week, 3 games, difficult games. And we've taken Rice out of the team. He's not been dropped. There's a massive difference between dropped and rested. And he was rested. And the players that come in, there isn't a drop-off. And that's why we've got the squad, because you're gelling them together. And once relationships start forming, because they haven't even formed yet, what we had today was 11 great players on the pitch at one time. It wasn't a great team performance because the players don't know each other well enough. The relationships and the chemistry haven't yet kind of gelled, but they're going to, and at that point then I don't think teams are going to be able to live with us.